3,500 songs on air and online at 965thechill.com. Tune in on the FM dial in Christian County and on your computer or smartphone. Hear these great artists and many more 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 965thechill.com.
WTIM. You're listening to the WTIM Morning Show on your information station. The show is sponsored by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first. I'm your host, Reed Kamai, and I'll tell you what, it's warmer weather out there. That means it's gardening season, of course, and I'm sure the master gardeners, therefore, have been quite busy with their gardening, and they're the ones who join us for this segment. I've got two of the master gardeners here with me. I'll introduce each of them one at a time for you so you can put a voice to a name. On my left is Gwen Podesky. Gwen, thanks for coming in.
You're welcome. Glad to be here.
Yeah, no, it's good to have you in, and it's also good to have in Linda Smith. Linda, thank you for coming on.
Always good to be here and glad to be here and provide what knowledge we can.
Yes, and you two have a ton of knowledge, and we're going to get a lot of that over the course of the next 20 minutes. So I know you've talked before about the summer photography workshop happening on Thursday, June 18th. That's coming up, and I'd love for you folks to talk a little more about that as folks can get a reminder of what to expect.
Sure. Well, we'd like anybody and everybody who is interested in taking pictures, whether it be with a cell phone camera or a 35 millimeter. We offer these programs. It's probably every 3 or 4 years now. They're very popular. People tend to want to take pictures. And, typically we used to have our garden walks about the third week in June because that's when everything was blooming and
Optimum.
ready to take pictures of and just at their peak. And we do this program. It will be held on Thursday, June 18th from 6 to 8 p.m. And that's kind of the golden hour of the day when the sun's rays are not as strong and the colors of the flowers kind of pop out at you. And that's a perfect time to take pictures. And Mary Davis from Mary Catlin Photography will be kind of leading us on a path. This program will be held at Linda Cahias's Arboretum down in the Pana area, right off Route 16. And she was host to a garden walk many, many years ago, but has a wonderful variety and array of flowers to take pictures of. And Mary kind of has a way of taking photography and can show you some tips and some do's and don'ts about taking pictures. And the golden hour is a perfect hour to take those pictures. So we encourage everybody to register online at the U of I Extension website. And you can sign up for that. It is free, no charge, and just come and bring your cell phone and we'll take pictures for an hour, hour and a half, and then get some instruction on it as well.
Right. And they can bring 35 millimeter camera as well if they'd like. So I think that it's wonderful. I know I had yearbook training in high school and we learned to frame shots when you were given the photo that had been taken and you took your little tool and put your corners to it. And it does help you to know what to exclude from a photo, how close you should get to something. And so we're thinking that folks that want to make full advantage of photos in their garden will be able to take advantage of it.
And the beautiful thing about cell phones is you can take a million pictures and you don't have to pay for any of them like you did with when you had film and every picture was costing you money. This is a great way to go back and look at what you've taken and see, oh my gosh, I didn't realize, that I had a weed that's bigger than the plant I'm taking a picture of in the photo. And, things like that help. And Mary has a tendency to get behind plants and take them from behind and see what the light is letting through and just kind of giving you a different perspective of just going up to a plant that you like and taking a picture of it. It gives you that extra thought process to help be a little more creative in taking pictures.
Yeah, no, that's super cool with kind of the way all that works with like taking the shots. You said 6 to 8 p.m. and you added that's kind of the prime time for taking these pictures. Now, I have certainly become more in tune with since I've been going to bed at the time I have been with this role. Seems like it is still pretty bright outside, like in that 2-hour time frame, like bright as day. And you say that still works, like, best for taking shots. Can I explain that a little more?
Well, the brightness of the sun is muted a little bit at that time of day.
The angle, it's the angle.
It's the angle of the sun, right, coming down. And so it just gives you a little bit more mellow tone to your pictures, and
the colors might be truer. The colors might actually are truer, other than because the sun can do very strange things to flowers. I mean, you take it with the sun behind it, and all of a sudden it's an interesting effect. Don't get me wrong, but it's just all, knowing. And if I guess there was probably another golden hour, it has something to do with early morning, but that's when I'm usually out picking blueberries and pulling weeds,
right?
Trying to beat the heat.
Yeah. And it's interesting too, that this time of year when everything is in, I mean, my daylilies are just getting ready to bloom. So they're going to be popping in the next week or so. So hopefully, and Linda has a ton of a variety of different flowers. And for those of you who have been to our plant sale, a lot of our plants that we propagate from Linda's are sold in the plant sale that we have every year. And so she has all kinds of beds designated for different things, like a Japanese garden and, a native gardens and things like that, where you can just wander around all of her acreage down there and take pictures at your desire, whatever you want to go take a picture of, wander around, and then we'll come back and analyze what you took.
Yeah, because the wonderful thing about Linda is she was a longtime plant collector, and when plants were there were a lot of really nice things just coming out. So you get to take advantage of someone who gardened for a long time in one spot and really found the best of the best for her location. And that's, it's location.
Right.
So yes, it's a wonderful spot to just see how a longtime gardener, how much they can really add to their landscape.
Yeah, and it sounds like when you do that sort of thing over and over again, you really figure out the best way to make it work. So Summer Photography Workshop, Thursday, June 18th from 6 to 8 o'clock, and you can find more at go.illinois.edu. So from that, I want to transition to something else we were talking a little bit about before. We've got gardening going on. We've also got Japanese beetles about the area, and I know that's already got Gwen Podesky ready to talk.
Well, they are known for celebrating Father's Day. That's almost always when I see the first Japanese beetles. Luckily, in Illinois, we have a very long flush of roses that starts in early May and goes on until about that point, and then the roses that bloom throughout the summer, and they are the worst affected of ornamental plants, I would say. Fruit is another matter, and you often have a real struggle with those, but they look like a June bug. They are coppery, very shiny, would make beautiful jewelry if you could stand them. And they will just eat your roses. I mean, they can probably could take 2 dozen, 3 dozen roses out in 2 hours. They're just that hungry.
Voracious.
And they are an invasive species. We have sadly come to deal with them and kind of go around them. So if you were on top of it early in the spring, you could have treated some of your non-food plants with an imidacloprid drench. 7 will work on them, but you have to reapply. My own personal way of dealing with them is a yogurt cup full of soapy water, and I just go around and just kind of gently knock them in there and then enjoy the fact that they're going to meet their maker. So anyway, but they are a real garden pest, and you may get, I know people, myself included occasionally, who will just disbud their roses, just take the roses and cut them back to sort of discourage them. I don't know what this winter will have done to them, though. I'm hopeful that between the very dry drought conditions And the 2 pretty lengthy extreme cold times we had, that maybe that's going to reduce the population. Certain things that are very, very big magnets for them, linden trees, the little leaf linden particularly, which is a great shade tree, except for the fact that then it has this like brown top for the rest of the summer. I've had problems with them on sassafras,
Dawn redwoods,
anything with hydrangea,
very tender fronds and leaves
and petals.
Petals, they're just attracted to them, and that's where they live and propagate and live again. Yeah.
Now they don't do daylilies. They don't like daylilies, which I'm always happy about because I have a lot in my yard, about 230. But this is something, and I'll show your camera. This is what earwigs can do. And you may not know you have earwigs if you don't get out late in the evening or very early in the morning. They are night feeders, but they are very naughty little creatures. They have like a double tail on the back. It looks like a little pincher on the back of them. And those things can just eat plants. I mean, I had them on the lamium you gave me, Linda. I've had them on, let me think. They just took my dill out for a while. It came back. It has reliefed. And my basil, which I thought nothing eats basil. What is wrong with this? But I've had earwig problems. I usually see them late in the summer. This year they were very early and very, very busy. I mean, I had several pots. They ate a marigold. They skeletonized a marigold completely. And I'm not talking a little plant. I was talking so they are, there are the critters out there, and you just have to watch them. One of the things I use to address those, and I seem to have had a fairly good success with it, is diatomaceous earth. And I used both the diatomaceous earth that you can sprinkle on as a powder, and then I also put a granular form that you can just put on. You wet the soil first, then put this granular form on, and then sprinkle it again. And that seems to have sort of slowed it down anyway, for the most part, until last night.
No, that's some good tips there in terms of those Japanese beetles, and I'll be curious to see how it transpires this season as well. I'm talking right now with Gwen Podesky and Linda Smith, Master Gardeners with the University of Illinois Extension. Let's take a break, and we'll continue our conversation here on the WTIM Morning Show on your information station.
Your information station, WTIM.
When it comes to connecting with America's farmers and ranchers, nothing beats the authentic voice of Ag Radio. Farm broadcasters have been the voice of rural America since 1944, building trusted relationships with agricultural producers across generations. Today, the network of over 140 Ag radio stations reaches farmers and ranchers during their most productive hours when they're actively working their operations and making business decisions. What makes Ag Radio uniquely effective? Farmers listen to farm broadcasters for information that directly impacts their livelihood. When your message is delivered alongside crucial weather updates, market reports, and agricultural news, it receives the same attention and credibility. Farm Radio Connects offers agricultural advertisers targeted access to this engaged audience through professionals who understand both broadcasting and agriculture. According to the National Association of Farm Broadcasting, 78% of farmers consider information from farm broadcasters highly trustworthy. When you need to reach rural America effectively, choose the voices they already trust. Visit IllinoisFarmRadio.com and discover how Ag Radio can elevate your agricultural marketing strategy.
Hi, I'm Drew Peabody with First National Bank on Spresser, and I've got great news for future homeowners. Through the Federal Home Loan Bank's Down Payment Plus program, qualified buyers may receive grant funds to help with their down payment and closing costs. That means less out of pocket and a faster path to owning your home. If rising upfront costs have been holding you back, this program could make all the difference. Give me a call today at 287-2003. Let's open the door to your new home together. First National Bank on Spresser, the quality bank. Equal housing lender.
Carl Krumsick here from Krumsick Monument Company in Taylorville, Illinois. Find out the many services we provide by clicking our icon on the obituaries page of TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
This is Blaine Cornwell with Prairie State Insurance. To learn more about our products and services, click our icon on TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
I'm Police Chief Andrew Pistorius with the Sullivan Police Department, here to talk about a topic no one wants to discuss, depression that many times leads to suicide. When a person is going through such feelings, many times family and friends don't know how to help. But there is help. If you feel depressed or lonely, there are many resources to help you. Call a trusted relative, friend, or minister, or call the Suicide Prevention Lifeline toll-free at 800-273-TALK. That's 800-273-TALK. All of us are here to help.
Parents, your Christian County Health Department at 730 North Pawnee in Taylorville offers back-to-school immunizations at little or no cost for kindergarten, 6th, 11th, or 12th grade. Get details by clicking their icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
At First National Bank in Taylorville, switching banks isn't a hassle. It's easy by real people who care. Find out why they've been first every time for over 70 years by clicking their icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Your information station, WTIM.
Welcome back to the WTIM Morning Show on your information station. It's sponsored by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first. I'm your host, Reed Kamai, and I'm joined by Gwen Podesky and Linda Smith, Master Gardeners with the University of Illinois Extension. I want to move on to a topic that's been quite relevant lately, rain, or should I say lack thereof, because we haven't had a lot of it lately, and I'm curious what gardeners should think about when they're trying to care for plants, considering how little rain we've gotten.
Well, most plants that are established, there should not be any problem. They've reached the moisture beneath the soil, and they'll typically be fine. And we had where we live, we had 3.5 inches, close to 4 inches in May, but this from the middle of May until now has been kind of sparse with rain. So, except you folks here in Taylorville got a half an inch.
Yeah, we got
week.
a half an inch last week, and I was really pumped. I thought I had just told my son, well, it went south this morning, it's going to go north this afternoon, and I heard this clap of thunder, and down it came. So I was happy.
Yeah. But any plants that you may have planted this spring, they need tender, loving care, and an inch of rain or watering them with the equivalent of an inch of rain every week is recommended, just to keep them going, get that root system started so they start to develop, and then they can also become one of your established plants in the future. But and trees, I would say for 2 or 3 years, you need to water them. I was going to say, I would extend that definitely to any kind of woody plants that you've planted within the last 2 years. If they don't have an inch of rain a week, then you probably need to think about supplementing that, because they do that. And a lot of their root development and root growth occurs in the winter. It's why people recommend that a lot of them get planted in the fall. But no matter what, if you planted them in the last couple of years and it's got a woody stick to it, I would say with this kind of just err on the safe side. And I don't want people to drown plants, because you can do that. Yeah. But also kind of, it's always a good thing. Stick your finger in the soil. If that soil is dry, then it's probably a good idea to water.
Yeah. So,
and also to mulch, to keep the mulch around things. So that helps too.
Yeah. And I think one of you folks, maybe it was you, Linda, said you were doing that over the weekend. Did I hear that correctly?
The last week I've been mulching. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Woo, all right. So so something else you can do to care for those plants. We've got about 90 seconds to go. And I know you folks have been active at the Taylorville Farmers Markets. Yes. And sounds like you have some news to share from that.
Yeah, we also do have the help desk going on from 9 to 11 on Thursdays, but we've been at the farmers market just about every other week. It's usually twice a month. We've been giving away things this year. So we have folks register for a drawing, and at the end of the day, we draw. This last week, we gave away a rain gauge, a pruning saw, a recipe box, and can't remember my fourth item now, but we did give away 4 different items. Oh, a plant. Yes. And I want to thank Jordan Podesky of Podesky Tree Farm for donating a bucket of flowers, and they were Calabricoa. So a Taylorville resident won that, and she was tickled to get it. So yes, we had four prizes.
Yeah.
So stop and visit us. If we're there, it's in Manners Park. So it's
Yeah.
under the Chautauqua, and we've got a table with a big orange banner that says Extension Master Gardeners. So
you
please
cannot
visit and register for the drawing. You
Yeah.
too could be a winner.
Yeah, you cannot miss that orange table there. And I bet that rain gauge, especially with everything we're talking about earlier, could come in handy as well.
Yes.
Gwen Podesky, Linda Smith, Master Gardeners with the University of Illinois Extension. Thank you both for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, and thank you for listening here on the WTIM Morning Show on your information station. Stay tuned because in about 10 minutes, we'll have another conversation. You won't want to miss that as well. You're listening to the WTIM Morning Show on your information station.
SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington.